It's Beyond Two Souls time. Guillaume from Quantic Dream. Is that right? Quantic Dream?
Yeah, from Quantic Dream.
Yeah, you're joining me on stage, Guillaume. Welcome. Like I was saying before, in my super eloquent and not at all stuttery way, Beyond had a pretty robust showing yesterday at the Sony press conference, and seeing a lot of Jodie. That's the name I couldn't remember. Jodie in action. Jodie, of course, the main character, played by Ellen Page. You guys, I like the way you're sort of introed it. You are doing it in that movie style way, almost giving the actors credit, you know, because the performers in Beyond Two Souls, they're more than just voices.
Totally. We are really capturing the entire performance, so they're really lending their, you know, the complete body, the physical attributes, but also the voice and the entire performance.
It's a real, it's real acting performance. And in fact, it was interesting to see you guys submit part of Beyond Two Souls to the Tribeca Film Festival earlier and have it featured there and garner pretty good amount of critical acclaim.
Oh yeah, we were very happy about it, and we're the first surprise, to be very honest, to be selected. But yeah, I guess it's a recognition for the very special nature of the games that we are creating, that are narrative, trigger emotion, and are very much, you know, taking advantage of actors' performances, and are, you know, also very cinematic.
And you know, the cinematic just isn't just sort of the general sweep of the, you know, the actors and of the settings, you know, because this is a game that actually spans almost 2 decades of this woman's life. It's also in the camera angles, and we saw during the demo yesterday that really every moment seems to be, you know, crafted to some degree, you know, and it happens. There's dynamic gameplay to an extent, but the camera angles have an artistic quality that many Quantic Dreams games have before, and you guys are sticking with Beyond Two Souls.
Yes, I mean, you know, what is sometimes very difficult to understand when you watch gameplay is that we're really making a game. Everything is interactive, but we have this layer on top of it, which is, camera work, which is very important to us. We want to put our characters, you know, put them really into context, and they are the stars. And so is the gamer, actually, when he plays. You know, he's the star.
And let's talk about what we saw yesterday. Jodie, you know, she's been working with the character played by Willem Dafoe to sort of presumably harness her or deal with her connection to the entity she's connected with.
He's studying her.
He's studying her, and then that study comes to an abrupt halt one day when knock knock, the CIA is pulling Jodie out and putting her basically through boot camp.
Yes, totally. She's going to go through a very intense training, and she's going to be trained as a weapon. I mean, she has this relationship to Aiden, this entity, and the CIA has apparently a plan for her to become a spy, and she's going to be sent into missions.
Yeah, and now that was, you know, that's one of the ways that you guys are sort of spanning a lot of various environments. You know, early glimpses of Beyond Two Souls were sort of dark alpine forest towns. It was raining. It was, you know, very dreary weather. Some northern country seemed, but then this one was the desert. You're out in Iraq or, you know, Somalia, yeah. And so she's in country to kill a warlord by the end of it, but it's pretty grueling for her throughout the training. Is that something you really try to transfer directly to the player, that grueling experience of this is not fun, you're getting beaten around?
Oh yes, and it's going to be very, very tough for Jodie during this particular period when she's getting trained. You know, it's if anyone who's gone through this kind of training or has seen maybe a documentary on how these soldiers are trained, you know, it's not fun.
No.
And you're going to be drilled.
Yeah, this is not a reality TV show. This is, you're gonna get punched in the face really hard if you don't stop that punch from hitting you in the face.
But you can master it, and it's also about learning. And you really, you know, Beyond is really about living the life of this character through 15 years of her life, and it's being with her in the good times, but also in the bad times. And so the player is going to live very, very different moments. We've started to show it through different scenes that we've highlighted so far. And yeah, you're not always beaten.
Yeah, and but I do think that getting beaten moment can be important, especially if you're trying to build this character over this long arc of her life. You want to be able to identify what you want. You want to feel that rage and that frustration and that, tell him that I'm done, I'm out. Like when Jodie reaches that point, you want the player to say like, hell yeah, let's get out of here.
Of course, it's the whole idea here is to set the player in a particular mood for certain very, very important moments in Jodie's life, and moments during which the player will have to make decisions. And as you know, if you played Heavy Rain, you know that whatever your actions, there are going to be consequences on the story. And so but we want to make sure that the player does know, is well informed before he's making these decisions, and yeah, this is one of those moments when we're building you to think like Jodie and making sure you're...
And taking that journey, and I think that's 15 years is a long time in a person's life. Certainly, a lot of games take place over the course of hours, days. The ambitious scope, not a lot of movies even track people's lives that long. This is something that you don't see too often in a game, so is it... what kind of challenge does that bring to you guys in terms of charting that scope? Does it give you it seems like it'd give you more freedom almost to build that character progression across that long stretch of time?
Yeah, I think it's been a real challenge to David Cage, my partner, who wrote Beyond. It's been a real challenge for him to craft this story. But on the other hand, yes, it's giving us the possibility to say a lot of things about the character. And there's something else I need to say about this, is that you are not going to play in chronological order. So as the player, you're going to play a scene when you're 22, and then you're going to play a scene when you're 8, and then back to 22, and then 15. And so you're not necessarily going to see the consequences of your actions immediately, where sometimes you are going to see the consequences and then only 6 scenes later understand why this has happened like this, or why Jodie or people around her are reacting as they do. So it's another layer of complexity to a certain degree to the story that is, we believe, very interesting.
Yeah, that's a trope that a lot of movies and TV shows use as well, that sort of reveal that shines a revealing light on the stuff that happened before, and makes you appreciate the character just like that. Things fall into place, and that can be very powerful. For a lot of folks, seeing Beyond Two Souls over the years has raised the question of, well, what's the gameplay? Is this gameplay? Is that game? Am I actively playing here? What is that? I think, for me personally, the Sony press conference, that seemed like that was a lot easier for me to identify as gameplay. It's more traditional and relatable from a traditional gameplay paradigm. So let's talk about what actually, in those action sequences, what is the player's control like? Quantic Dream's previous game, Heavy Rain, had a lot of prompts on screen as part of the gameplay. To what extent are those a factor, or are you just sort of using the controller, in a way that this moves Jodie, this does that? How does that shake out within the context of that army training, let's say?
Well, during the context of this particular scene, for instance, but so the first thing I need to say is that everything we're showing is real time, and you're constantly in control of the character. So in what we've seen, what we've shown this yesterday and this morning, you're basically playing as Jodie, and you're controlling her, so you're moving around like in any game, I would say, and you have the possibility to switch to Aiden, because you're both playing Jodie and Aiden at any time. So you press the triangle button, and here you go, you're playing as Aiden. Okay. You can fly around everywhere as Aiden. You can possess other characters. You can kill them by suffocating them. You can,
as Aiden, you can just possess them and close off the windpipe, and then that's it.
So it's really you press L1, you're triggering your target, and then with the two analog sticks, you can either press the two analog sticks together, and you're going to suffocate your opponent, or you're going to pull them apart, and then you're going to take control of the other character, and then you can, do certain things with it.
Okay.
It's everything's contextual, so it depends on what kind of context you are. You can kill someone, you can drive a car, you can drive, all kinds of things. The other thing that you can do with Aiden is you can blast. You can blast objects. You can throw objects, a chair, for instance, at another character, but you can also blow. If you remember the hunted scene that we shown last year, you can blow an entire town hall.
Yeah.
So Aiden is very, very powerful. So there's a lot of things you can do. Now, back to Jodie, because you can really switch at any moment between Jodie and Aiden.
Because there's no separation. Aiden's not hanging out elsewhere while Jodie's in training.
No, you're really there, and you can really, you switch whenever you need to. And you need to make those two characters cooperate.
Which, now is that not, they're not like best friends forever. They're always connected, but there's tension between them and there's conflict.
There is, they are connected. Jodie has a connection with Aiden ever since she can think, so she's ever. And it's at the same time a great gift.
Yeah.
It gives her power.
Significant powers.
Yeah, power, physical powers I mentioned before, but also the capacity to sneak, for instance, into another room and listen to other people's conversations.
Yes.
So but on the other hand, it's also a curse, because the relationship that she has with Aiden makes her special, and Jodie, to a certain extent, does want to be normal. She just wants to be like you and I. She doesn't want to go to the CIA, for instance. She doesn't want to be drilled.
No, that does not sound like a fun thing to do when you're a teenage girl.
Exactly. She wants to live a normal life, and unfortunately, this gift that she has, that's also a curse, Aiden, does not give her the opportunity to have this normal life.
It's not happening, Jodie. No normal life for you. So sorry. Folks, we talked about the controls a little bit, and of course, Beyond Two Souls coming to the PlayStation 3 and 4? Or 3?
PlayStation 3.
PlayStation 3. So we see some 6-axis.
Yeah, of course. We're also using the 6-axis in certain contextual moments.
Sure.
So,
these are questions coming over Twitch. I've got one here on Twitter. Just swipe over to it real quick. Robin wants to know off Twitter, what is happening? This is actually just a little sidebar from Beyond Two Souls, if you don't mind.
No.
Because Quantic Dream was also a factor at the Sony press conference with the tech demo, the Sorcerer's Dream?
The Dark Sorcerer.
The Dark Sorcerer. And it was a D word somewhere in there. Actually, no. Let's put that on pause for a second because we've got a trailer running. So let's take a look at Beyond Two Souls here. This is the moment, this is actually the scene we saw from the Sony press conference, and this is the moment when the CIA comes, says, we're recruiting you.
Yep.
It's not we're recruiting you in a few days, report to camp in 2 weeks.
It's now.
Come with me now.
Yeah.
That's how they operate. But this is also interesting to note that she's not part of like a training camp for all the youth that are troubled and have connections with strange spiritual entities or whatever. This is like one-on-one. It looks like she's training with a specific trainer. There's no one else around. This is like a very targeted get Jodie into shape program.
Yes, I can't explain why, but there is a reason why, of course. And this is something that you'll need to discover.
Sure.
But she's getting a special training because she is going to go on to very, very special missions.
And we actually get a glimpse of it a little later on. She goes on those missions and she goes alone. So, she's going to try to take out this guy right here. This is the mission briefing.
She's not totally alone. She's with Aiden.
Of course. She is never alone, in point of fact. But this is a violent situation. This is Jodie's life is in harm's way.
Oh, totally.
Is it possible to die in Beyond Two Souls and then have to travel back and start from another point?
So the first thing is, no, you don't have to travel back, and there is, like in Heavy Rain, no game over. Can you die? Maybe, probably.
Maybe. Okay.
It's called Beyond. It's about what lies beyond life also. So
Perhaps
death is one of the components of the game.
All right. And that was the look at Beyond Two Souls that we saw from the Sony press conference. Now, I really will derail you for a second to talk about the Dark Sorcerer. Sure. This, Quantic Dream has produced some very stunning tech demos for Sony in the past. The Kara tech demo with the android woman sort of being constructed and deconstructed. This one, obviously a little more lighthearted than the Kara one. It starts off and the Dark Sorcerer is wielding his arcane magics with his goblin assistant, and then gets right to the point where he's issuing the curse words and can't quite remember them. Cut. Turns out this is a movie shoot. It's everything. Half the stuff is green screened. Why do you guys do that stuff? What do you like to do? What do you like about producing these tech demos?
What we like about these is that we can express ourselves.
Yeah.
Really, really freely. And it's a great opportunity for our artists, but also for our research and development people to, get onto a new console, in this case, the PlayStation 4, and try things out. Back in 2006, we did a first tech demo short film, so to speak. It was called The Casting. Then we did Kara, as you mentioned. And David wanted to do something different this time. And we thought a lot about different themes or different genres. And at one point we said, well, we made people cry.
Yeah.
We
you guys love to make people cry.
Exactly. We're more on the dark side usually. So let's try and make them laugh. And it's tough. It's really, really tough. It's as difficult to make people laugh than to make people cry. Trust me. And so, I'm very proud of what David did. I think he wrote a very elegant and fun little story of about 12 minutes. And I think it's been fun to produce, and it's great now to see the reaction of people. And trust me, yesterday my heart was pounding when we projected it in front of 5,000 people.
Well, and millions
people
more
laughed.
online, right?
Yeah, that was great.
But then you got the laugh from the audience, and they're like,
"Yeah,
that's good." All right, Guillaume. Well, Beyond Two Souls, we saw the release date. It's October 8th, and that's coming to the PlayStation 3. You don't want to bump that up or anything. I mean, October's kind of a long way away. I don't want to wait that long.
It's tomorrow morning.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you so much for coming up here, talking Beyond Two Souls. It's great to meet you, and I hope that the rest of the show goes well for you.
Thank you.
And now, folks, we are going to take a look at some Donkey Kong. If you caught the Nintendo press conference this morning at the ungodly hour of 7 a.m., you saw a new Donkey Kong in the works. We're going to check it out.